downstairs, you started signing in to use the computers. I wanted to show you something. There is a history room, Alpena history room at Alpena County Library. And I wanted to show you some pictures of my father, Dick Higgs. And you seemed a little interested, you seemed a little leery about going in there, but you did. So I got information on my father, and you asked Bob about your uncle, who you believe was famous, which he was. Seriously, he was a good man. I'm glad I learned something about your family. Your uncle was a member of the Knights Templar here in Alpena in the 60s. And I don't know if you know, you said you knew somewhat what that is. You know, a group of men, and you really didn't care. So I guess I could say you feigned interest for a while, until you were bored of it and you wanted to go use the computers because we were there so that you could watch my video. And you left the Alpena history room to go use the computers, just as I started telling you about the Knights Templar and explaining to you how important they are, or were, or will be. You know, just all fraternal orders are important for good reasons. Someday we'll find out more about that. Perhaps I will join one. I don't know. I know some people that are Masons, and I find it interesting. I would like to feel like I belong to a group, which I do. I feel like I belong to the group known as scientists, even though I'm not a great scientist by any means, but I do feel like a scientist to some extent. And atheists, and humanists, and agnostics to some extent, free thinkers, skeptics, take your pick. I consider myself all of the above. But at the moment there are no organizations for scientists, atheists, skeptics, freethinkers, or humanists, or even agnostics here in Alpena, except for my friends. Which, who knows, someday maybe we'll start something. I hope so. So you went in the computer room. slightly hurt that you left me. I know you didn't really leave me. You were 25 feet away. But I kept looking up information on the Knights Templar, the Independent Order of Odd Fellows, the Kiwanis, Knights of Kiwanis, the Rotary Club, just, you know, those kind of organizations here in Alpena and how they started. And I found it fascinating and I wanted to share it with you. But when I walked in, you were watching my video and you were at 7 minutes and 43 seconds through it, and I sat behind you and you didn't notice that I was there. At least I don't think you noticed. You might have known that I was behind you. I don't know. But I sat and watched as you listened and watched with cheap earbuds. That I bought for $1 at the Dollar Tree. So you were watching the video, and I was standing behind you the whole time. Waiting for you to turn around. I was going to touch your shoulder. I was going to let you know I was there. But I sat there, right behind you. Sat there, stood there, and just watched you, watching my video, watched myself, my mannerisms, my expressions. And when the video was over, I tapped your shoulder and walked. I don't know if I tapped your shoulder or not. I walked around so you could see me. And you told me that you would tell me what you thought later. So a couple seconds later, 30 seconds later or so, I asked you again, in another way, what you thought. And time is 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today's date is February 12th. I don't know why that's important. But I just figured I mentioned it. My clock just told me what time it is, the hour. Anyhow, I wanted you to tell me what you thought of the video then and there. I didn't want you to think about it or think about what you would tell me. I wanted you to tell me what you honestly thought at that moment. And you didn't. And again, I kind of felt hurt. You probably didn't want to tell me because you had respect for the patrons of the computer room. But it's not against the law to talk in the library. You know, as long as you use your library voice, I'm sure everybody will understand that there are things that need to be said. Anyhow, for whatever reason, you decided not to tell me anymore. Which you did after I asked the second time. You did tell me that you thought it was... I think you said said. Sorry. I know when we got home and you told me about it, you said that I wasted 5 minutes talking about the contest and changing the rules and and whatnot. And I'm not sure if I went back to the Alpena history room or I just walked out after you started looking up something else. But I decided to go get my hair cut. So I walked to First Federal. I got $20. And then I walked to the arcade barbershop and had my hair cut. I talked with the two men that were there. I asked them a lot of questions. Put them on the spot. I asked him about music. The one that was cutting my hair said he liked to write, compose,